Heartily welcome to the assignment presentation for the course Intellectual Property Rights and Entrepreneurship. I am Sai Pranav. This presentation deals with IP rights and their role in the startup ecosystem. Now let us understand the terms IP rights and startups, and let us also see and understand the effect on each other. IP rights are intellectual property rights. These are the rights given to the creativity, which is new and admired by the world. The aim of IP rights is to make one's intellect yield as much as the physical property. World Trade Organization defines intellectual property rights as the rights given to persons over creations of their minds. They usually give the creator an exclusive right over his or her creation for a certain period of time. Now the second term, startups. Startups are very famously referred to as self-employed. They are the young companies founded by one or more entrepreneurs to develop a unique product or service and bring them to the market. These are small but play very significant role in the economic growth. As such, their role is very important to any country. Now let us see the importance of startups, or which are commonly referred as self-employed. The startups or self-employed are the backbone of any nation. Encouragement and help to compete into the global economy is very essential for these startups. The transformation from the self-employed to the entrepreneur begins at the establishment of the business organization. And a major issue and concern of these business organization is investment. Hence, to any startup, empowering is very essential to get stabilized. Let's see the important organizations at national and international level that supports the startups. The first one is the World Trade Organization. World Trade Organization is one of the important working organization under United Nations organizations UNO. It deals with the regulation of the trade at the global level. Its headquarters is located in Geneva, Switzerland, and it was established on 1st January 1995. At present, there are 164 countries under the umbrella of WTO, and they meet 2 years once to take important decisions on world trade between the nations. The major functions of World Trade Organizations are: they bring into force the trade agreements throughout the world, they administer the world trade agreements like a mediator, they stress for free and independent trade throughout the world, and they also help to solve the trade disputes that arise among the member nations. They strive to reduce taxes on international trade. They bring the international trade under a legal framework. They provide assistance to developed nations to get more facilities in international trade. They bring efficiency in production and trade by utilizing the resources effectively. They bring down the cost of living and improve the standard of living of the member countries. They settle dispute and reduce the trade tension among the member countries. They stimulate economic growth and employment of the member countries. They reduce the cost of doing business internationally, and they encourage good governance. They contribute and promote the peace, stability of the member countries. The second organization is WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization. WIPO is also one of the organizations under UNO. It's a global forum for intellectual property, policy, services, information, and cooperation. This includes 192 member states that enjoy the intellectual property rights. Now let us see and understand the role of IP rights in startups. Many companies derive their revenue from the intellectual property rights. Example, Qualcomm derives around 46% of its revenue from the patents it has owned. Many a times intellectual property is unprotected and it is subjected to infringement. This IP rights provide a hope of sustenance at the time of infringement. IP rights helps to flourish innovative ideas and products and make it public. IP right helps in outsourcing manufactures, which means for a product manufactured in a corner of a country, the whole world is a market for it. IP rights helps in the evaluation of the strength of the competitors. They also help in identifying the trends and experts of a field. As such, The whole world has become like a global market. This has led to a phenomenon called globalization. International Monetary Fund (IMF) defines globalization as the economic interdependence of countries for goods, services, and international capital flow with the help of widespread diffusion of technology. Factors which include in globalization are: globalization refers to the worldwide phenomenon of technical, economic, political, and cultural exchanges brought about by modern communication, transportation, and legal infrastructure, as well as the political choice to consciously open border links in the international trade and finance. Globalization encourages international capital and trade, overcoming the political barriers among the countries. Globalization creates free trade zone by removing import and export duties. Through container service shipping, globalization reduces the transportation expenses. Globalization helps to reduce restrictions on capital investment or fully remove the barriers on capital flow. Globalization creates subsidies to the Worldwide Trade Organization. Globalization creates harmonization of intellectual property laws across the majority of the states which have more restrictions. At the national level, Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Scale Enterprises, known as MSME, helps in empowering the startups. The major concern of any startup is financing. This decides the direction of the growth of company. It starts with the innovative idea, where the investors are family, friends, and loans. At the prototype stage, the investors are called angel investors, whose investment provides capital for the product or service generation. After this, the investments continue, where venture capital from corporate investors also accelerate the growth of the startups. And after this, the investors continue and the investment sees a plateau of stabilization. At this stages, the startups get stabilized and reach their stabilized states. To support the startups at the tender stages, various organizations have been established to finance the startups, such as Industrial Development Bank of India (IDBI), NABARD, Exim Bank, Small Industries Development Bank of India (IFCI), ICICI, IRBI, commercial and other banks, State Finance Corporation (LIC), Unit Trust of India are very popular funding agencies. At the bird's eye view, we have seen the role of World Trade Organization in startups, the role of micro, small scale, and medium scale enterprises in the startups, role of WIPO in the startups, and how governmental policies will boost the startups, and how investment funding agencies help the startups, and we have also seen the role of IP rights in the startups. Thank you.